Well, well, well. It looks like even Rosemary Barton and other Liberals don't like the budget that Mark Carney and Philippe Francois Champagne put out either. Man, if even the Liberals don't like it, obviously the Conservatives don't like it, even the NDP, who couldn't spell money, don't like it. What does that really mean? That means this budget is going to be pretty damn bad, especially for small businesses, but not corporations, and not for bankers, of course. Did you think anything else was going to happen? Did you think this was going to go any other way? Of course not. So we're going to get into this. Now, before we do, please don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really does help grow the channel. I appreciate you guys so much. So we're going to have a look at this panel here. I'm actually not sure who these three are, but they are not very happy. And we're going to find out why.
It delivered on what it promised to do, which is to transform the economy in a big way.
And to move the moon and the stars and 6 other things. I've never heard such hype in the run-up to an election in my life. It was going to be, generational and transformative, and at the same time it was going to involve sacrifices and difficult choices. And, at the end of the day, with the exception of the increase in health in defense spending, you could pretty much imagine the Justin Trudeau government delivering the same budget. It's not a huge amount of difference. There's a lot of spending, which we're now taught to call capital spending, which somehow makes it different. Well, that would be more persuasive if there had been some offsetting cut in non-capital spending and operational spending, but there's very little. It's $13 billion out of $500 billion budget is not a particularly impressive expenditure review. And it'd be more persuasive if we had some real indication that that capital spending was going to lead to higher productive capacity for the economy and therefore more revenues for the government. One indication of why we might doubt that is the ratio of debt costs to revenues is going to go up from 6 cents on the dollar a couple of years ago to 13 cents on the dollar. That's not crisis levels. In 1995, we were spending 36 cents of every dollar on interests, but it's not a particularly appetizing trend. So that's, I think, the biggest failing is there's really not much in the way of a growth strategy in this budget. I would hope we were going to see radical tax reform to really gin up the incentive to invest in this country, even in the face of Donald Trump's tariffs. In the end, what we got was a few warmed over things that they'd already announced on accelerated deductions with a couple of new ones, but it just really doesn't add up to that much.
Althea, do you think it meets the moment?
There's so much I want to say about what Andrew just said. Does it meet the moment?
We have Thursday too.
I don't know, because it's hard. What is the moment? Is the moment that we are in anemic growth, that we're facing Donald Trump, that we have elected a technocrat who has a very clear vision for where he wants to go? And he has delivered that budget. I do think it was overhyped. I don't agree that it doesn't do anything for growth. I do think it tries to get there, but it tries to get there with the heavy hand of the state and not maybe what Andrew wants to see, which is deep tax cuts and tax reform. But I do not see a scenario in which Justin Trudeau would ever have delivered this budget. If anything, this is Mark Carney shedding the skin of Justin Trudeau and saying, hello, I am a new person, and if anything, I want to be more closely aligned with Stephen Harper in terms of the public sector cuts. They're actually...
This is worse than Justin Trudeau's budget. Is this Andrew Coyne, by the way? Maybe that's who it is. The screen, this video is very kind of grainy, so I apologize for that. But I don't know what this lady's talking about. She is shedding the skin of Justin Trudeau? I mean, if you're going to say shedding the skin and being even worse than Justin Trudeau, fine. But I don't think that's what she's getting at. Closer to Stephen Harper. Oh, okay.
Deeper than what Stephen Harper did. And some of the things that you're like, did they know they were doing this, or have they done this on purpose? For example, the copays with refugees on their health care. Remember the whole controversy with Stephen Harper and refugee health care funding? The cuts he made to that, the cuts to international development. Mark Carney is breaking his promise from the last election and going deep with cuts on international development. He's even making cuts at Statistics Canada to lower the frequency of some of the data sets. So I can't see how this is a Justin Trudeau government. If anything, it's attacking the Trudeau government legacy on climate as well.
Okay, Chantal, your take.
Certainly, they are guilty of overselling and under-delivering, which breaks a cardinal rule of politics. You're supposed to do the reverse. So chances are public opinion will be underwhelmed by this budget, but I side more with Althea. One is signing the Trudeau budget, the other her Harper budget. I think Stephen Harper, in the same circumstances, would be more likely to have crafted a budget like this than Justin Trudeau. And I also think that politically there is a rationale for presenting a budget that Stephen Harper might have been able to live with. As for the deficit and the difference between the last Freeland budget and this budget, I think you can see Donald Trump behind the lines of this budget big time in the ways that the economic situation is presented bears no resemblance to the last full-fledged federal budget. Also in the spending, we'll see. I believe that it either moves private investment or it doesn't, and that's going to be the test of its success or failure.
And I'd imagine, if you would guess, it's not going to drive investment at all. In fact, there are already companies who are leaving Canada or choosing not to invest in Canada because everything is too expensive. They get taxed out the ass. Like to start any kind of a business here in Canada, I mean, you're going to get taxed hard. Unless you're a filthy rich corporation or a banker, and then you're not going to get taxed at all. And that's what, again, these liberals supposedly have a huge problem with that. But then they vote for interests of the bankers and the corporations. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense, does it? Elbows down with Trump, elbows down with the budget. When has Mark Carney actually got his elbows up on anything? We were supposed to see progress and speeds that which we have never seen before. Okay? Every time I make a video, I'm expecting something to happen, and nothing's happening. And yet I keep making these videos, the days, the weeks, the months pass by, and nothing's happening. They put out this budget super late, by the way. So, my God, they can't even get anything done on time. And this is the guy who's supposedly here to put his elbows up to Trump. Yet every time he sees him, he kisses Trump's ass. I mean, there's so many people who just got absolutely duped, and most of them don't know it yet. But their finances will go down the drain. Their jobs, their companies will probably leave. And then they're going to look for empathy. Poor me, guys, I didn't know. All I do is vote Liberal all the time, and then bad things happen. Boy, how could you predict that? Not my fault. Sorry. The whole time during COVID, when you were trying to be anti-pro-choice, by the way, which, again, another flip-flop by the Liberals, all I heard was consequences for your action. I can't tell you how many people I heard that from. Well, guess what? Voting is also an action. And when you face the consequences for those actions, I don't want to hear a peep. You ain't going to get any sympathy from me.